The town of Clearwater had a way of pretending everything was fine. Clean streets, trimmed hedges, polite smiles, yet beneath the surface lay a quiet habit of judging anyone who didn't fit their picture-perfect mold. And on that cold November morning, when a stranger stepped into town, they judged him before he even opened his mouth. He walked in with a worn backpack, a faded coat, and eyes that carried more miles than years. His name was Marcus Hale, though no one bothered to ask. To the passers-by, he was just another outsider, another problem, another man who didn't belong. Mrs. Alden, who ran the bakery, nudged her husband as Marcus passed. "Look at him," she whispered. "People like that bring trouble." Her husband didn't disagree. No one did. Marcus noticed the looks, the way people stepped aside when he approached. He wasn't surprised. He'd seen this before in town after town. But Clearwater, something about it felt heavier, colder, like the judgment here wasn't just suspicion. It was personal. He headed toward a small bench near the town park, sat down, and opened a little notebook. It was the only thing he kept safe, always zipped in the inner pocket of his coat. Inside were names, dozens of them. People he'd helped. People he'd saved. People who would never forget him, even if he had to keep moving. He had barely settled when a police cruiser rolled up. Officer Ray Buckley stepped out, adjusting his belt. "You new here?" he said stiffly. "Yes, sir. Just passing through," Marcus replied calmly. Buckley's eyes narrowed. "No camps, no loitering. Folks don't want trouble." Marcus nodded. He'd learned not to argue. "Understood." But the officer didn't move. "You need money? Food? What are you looking for?" Marcus sighed softly. "Not looking for anything. Just resting my feet." His tone was polite, but it wasn't enough. Buckley gave him one last warning glare before driving off. Across the street, a little girl named Emma Carver watched the whole thing from inside her mother's SUV. Emma tugged her mom's sleeve. "Why's the officer being mean to him?" she asked. Her mom didn't answer. She just drove away. Marcus stood and kept walking. The whispers followed. "Dangerous. He doesn't look right. Probably homeless." But no one knew the truth, not the town, not the officer, not even Emma's worried mother. Marcus wasn't wandering because he was lost. He wasn't jobless. He wasn't running from anything. He was searching for someone. Someone who needed him, even though they didn't know it yet. As the sun faded, Marcus sat behind the diner where the staff tossed leftover food. He wasn't hungry, he hadn't gone 2 days without eating before. He could cope. But energy was important. A stranger on foot couldn't afford weakness. The back door swung open. A teenage busboy named Tyler stepped out holding a trash bag. He froze when he saw Marcus. "Sorry," Marcus said gently, standing to give him space. Tyler swallowed nervously. You're not from here, right?" "No. Just traveling." Tyler studied him. His voice softened. "People here don't like strangers. They assume they're bad news. Just giving you a heads up." Marcus smiled faintly. "Thanks. I appreciate honesty." Tyler hesitated, then added quietly, "You hungry?" Marcus opened his mouth to refuse, but the boy had that hesitant kindness that shouldn't be rejected. "A little." Tyler quickly handed him a wrapped sandwich. "Don't tell my boss." "I won't." For the first time that day, Marcus felt a bit of warmth. But Tyler wasn't the one he had come for. As he walked toward the edge of town that night, he passed the Carver house. Inside, the lights were on. A family dinner. Laughter. Safety. Then he saw something that made him stop. Emma, the little girl from earlier, was standing in the window, staring out with pale, unfocused eyes. She looked uneasy. Frightened, even. Marcus froze. He pulled out his notebook and flipped to the last page. A name was written in small, careful letters. Emma Carver. Age 9. And beneath it? Find her before it's too late. Marcus closed the notebook slowly. Clearwater had judged him the moment he stepped in. But soon, very soon, they would discover that the stranger they feared was the only miracle they had left. By morning, Clearwater forgot the stranger existed. People moved with their usual tight smiles and polite nods. Kids hurried to school, adults to work, and the only one who remembered Marcus was the little girl who had seen him through the car window, Emma Carver. Marcus didn't sleep much. He never did when the notebook gave him a name. But this case felt different. Urgent. He walked to the hill overlooking the Carver home just as dawn painted the sky pale gold. He saw Emma stepping outside to wait for the school bus. She stood still, hugging her backpack. Too still. Even from a distance, Marcus sensed it the way children sometimes carry fear like it's heavier than they are. He approached slowly, staying respectful, keeping space between them. Morning, he said gently. Emma turned. Most kids would retreat at the sight of a stranger, especially one the town had already whispered about. But Emma didn't look frightened of him. She just looked tired. You're the man from yesterday, she said softly. Yes. Marcus. She nodded like she'd already known. Why are you here? He thought about lying. But children feel truth like birds feel storms, they just know. I came to make sure you're okay, Marcus said. Emma lowered her head. I'm fine. But the word cracked like thin ice. Marcus saw her hand trembling against the strap of her backpack. He wanted to say more, but the bus rounded the corner. Emma backed away, whispering, You shouldn't talk to me. Mama gets worried. Then she boarded the bus, taking her fear with her. Marcus watched as the bus drove off. He reached inside his coat and pulled out the little notebook again. Emma Carver. Age 9. Find her before it's too late. But there was no other detail, not who wrote the note, not how it got there. Notes often appeared when he woke, slipped between pages like invisible warnings. He never questioned how. Some mysteries protect themselves. He headed into town, only to be met with suspicion stronger than yesterday. Mrs. Alden glared from her bakery window. Two men outside the hardware store crossed their arms as Marcus passed. And Officer Buckley pulled up again, stepping out of his cruiser with irritation already on his face. I told you not to hang around, Buckley said. I'm just walking, Marcus replied calmly. Buckley stepped closer. Folks are uncomfortable. You need to move on. I will, Marcus said. I just need a little more time here. Time for what? Marcus looked at him, quiet but steady. To help someone. Buckley scoffed. Help? You think this town needs help from you? Everyone needs help from someone, Marcus said with a gentle shrug. Buckley didn't like that answer. Get out of town by sundown, he warned, then left. Marcus watched him go. He wasn't angry. Judgment didn't wound him anymore. But time was running short. The first sign. Marcus found a spot behind the library to sit and think. That's where Tyler, the teenager who'd given him a sandwich, found him again. You didn't leave, Tyler said. Couldn't, Marcus answered. Tyler tossed him an apple. People are saying you're dangerous. Am I? Tyler hesitated. No. But people fear what they don't know. Marcus smiled faintly. That's true. Tyler glanced around, lowered his voice. If you're in trouble, I can try to help. I'm not in trouble, Marcus said. But someone else might be. Tyler sat beside him. Who? A little girl. I think she's scared. More than anyone sees. Tyler frowned. Emma Carver. Marcus looked up, surprised. You know her. Everyone knows the Carvers. Perfect family. Perfect house. Perfect everything. Tyler paused. But I don't know. Emma always looked jumpy at school. Like she wanted to disappear. Marcus listened carefully. Anything else? He asked. Yeah, Tyler said slowly. Her dad. He's strict. People say he's a good man, but I've worked around adults long enough to know a fake smile when I see one. Marcus's jaw tightened. The notebook never warned him about people unless something was truly wrong. Tyler stood up and brushed dirt off his pants. If you care about that kid, just be careful. Her dad's the type who doesn't like questions. Marcus thanked him, then headed toward the Carver house again, staying hidden behind the hedges. That's when he heard the first scream. A sharp, panicked sound. A child's voice. Emma's voice. He rushed closer, but the scream cut off too fast. Like it had been smothered. The house looked calm from the outside. No commotion. No neighbors looking out. Marcus stepped back into the trees, forcing himself to breathe. Rushing in now would make everything worse. He waited. Minutes passed. Finally, the front door opened. Emma came out again, this time holding trash bags twice her size. She dropped one, flinching as it hit the ground. Marcus saw it. The bruise. Barely visible under her sleeve, but there. And she was limping. He stepped forward before he could stop himself. Emma. She froze, eyes wide, not scared of him, but scared of being seen. Are you hurt? Marcus asked quietly. Emma's eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. Please don't tell anyone, she whispered. Please. Marcus knelt to her level. Emma, who's hurting you? She looked at him for a long moment. Then she whispered one word. One name. The name that confirmed everything. And in that moment, Marcus knew. Clearwater didn't just judge the wrong man. They were protecting the wrong one. The name Emma whispered landed like a stone in Marcus's chest. My dad. Two small words. One enormous truth. Emma didn't cry. She didn't make a scene. She just stood there, too calm for a child, too practiced at hiding pain. Marcus knew that look. Children who lived in fear developed an adult silence long before they ever should. Marcus glanced at the Carver house. The lights were on. Perfect curtains. Perfect lawn. Perfect light. He knelt gently. Emma, how long has this been happening? She shook her head fast. I can't talk. If he sees me, if he sees you. Her voice broke. Marcus softened his tone even more. You're safe. I won't let anything happen to you. I promise. Emma looked like she wanted to believe him but didn't dare to. Before she could speak again, the front door swung open. Emma stiffened. A tall man stepped out, Gregory Carver, the kind of man people admired on sight. Clean-shaven, well-dressed, charming smile. One of Clearwater's most respected businessmen. The kind of man no one questioned. Emma. What's taking you so long? Gregory froze mid-sentence when he saw Marcus near his daughter. His eyes darkened instantly. What the hell are you doing near my home? He snapped. Emma stepped back like a shadow retreating. Marcus rose slowly, not intimidated. Just making sure she's okay. Gregory's jaw clenched. You stay away from my family. You hear me? People like you. He stopped himself, but the meaning was clear. Marcus's voice stayed calm. Is everything all right with Emma? She seems fine. Gregory barked. Now get off my property before I call Officer Buckley. Emma flinched at the officer's name. Marcus noticed. Gregory grabbed Emma's arm, not hard enough to leave a mark but hard enough that she winced. Marcus locked eyes with the man. "Let her go," Marcus said quietly. Gregory smirked. "Or what? You'll save the day? You're in a town that doesn't even want you here." He yanked Emma inside and slammed the door. Marcus stood there, fists curled, heart heavy with rage he never showed. He took a breath and reminded himself. Anger without clarity helps no one. He had to wait. He had to find proof. And he had to protect the girl before the situation turned deadly. The town turns against him. By afternoon, Clearwater had turned tense. Word spread quickly. Marcus, the stranger, the outsider, had been harassing a respectable family. Whispers grew louder. "She said he tried talking to the little girl. He's stalking homes now. He needs to be removed." Marcus walked through the town square, ignoring the stares burning into him. But deep down, he knew he didn't have long. Tyler ran up to him behind the library. "Dude, the whole town is against you now." "I've noticed," Marcus said. Tyler lowered his voice. "But, you were with Emma today, weren't you?" Marcus nodded. Tyler swallowed. "Is she okay?" "No," Marcus answered honestly. Tyler's face fell. "I knew it. I knew something was wrong with that family." People passed by, glaring. Tyler stood beside Marcus anyway. "You're still planning to help her, aren't you?" he asked. "I have to." Tyler hesitated, then handed Marcus a folded piece of paper. "My cousin works at Child Protective Services in the next town. I don't know if it'll help, but maybe call her." Marcus tucked it into his pocket. "Thank you." Tyler left quickly before anyone could accuse him of helping the stranger. The sun dipped low. Marcus knew the danger hour was coming. The time when homes drive out strangers. The time when abuse hides behind closed curtains. The time when a child's scream gets swallowed by night. He couldn't wait for the system. Not anymore. The second scream. At sunset, Marcus returned to the Carver house, keeping low behind the hedge. Through the window, he could see Gregory pacing the living room, muttering angrily. Emma stood in the corner, shoulders tight, expression blank, the look of a child who learned that tears only make things worse. Then Gregory stepped close. Too close. Marcus tensed. A hand lifted. Emma flinched. Marcus moved. He sprinted across the lawn just as a loud crack echoed inside, something breaking or someone. He grabbed the doorknob. Locked. He pounded the door once, twice. "Gregory. Open the door." No answer. Then Emma screamed. Not a small scream. A scream filled with terror. Marcus backed up 2 steps and slammed his shoulder into the door. It burst open. Gregory whirled around. Emma was on the floor, holding her arm. "You," Gregory growled, eyes wild, "are done." He charged toward Marcus, fists swinging. Marcus dodged with calm precision, like someone who'd been trained, someone who'd survived far worse. Gregory stumbled. Marcus didn't strike him back. He simply placed himself between Emma and danger. "Stay away from her," Marcus said, voice steady and low. "You have no idea who you're dealing with," Gregory spat. He reached into his coat pocket. Marcus's heart jolted. Was he pulling a weapon? But no, Gregory instead pulled out his phone. And dialed. "Officer Buckley? Get here now. The stranger just broke into my house and attacked me." Emma shook her head frantically. "No. He didn't." But Gregory silenced her with a glare so sharp it cut the air. Marcus breathed slowly. Buckley would arrive in minutes. Gregory would lie. The town would believe him. And Emma. Emma would be left with the very danger she feared. Unless Marcus did something unthinkable. Emma, he said softly, turning to the trembling girl. Do you trust me? She wiped her tears, nodded once small, but brave. Marcus held out his hand. Then we need to go. Right now. Behind them, sirens began to scream in the distance. The sirens wailed louder, fast, close, angry. Emma's small hand gripped Marcus's as they slipped out the back door of the Carver house. She was limping, but she didn't complain. Fear pushed her forward. Trust kept her moving. Where are we going? She whispered. Somewhere safe, Marcus said, scanning the darkening streets. He had minutes, maybe less, before Officer Buckley arrived and made things worse. Gregory was already on the porch, yelling into the phone, playing the perfect victim. He broke into my home. He attacked me. He's kidnapping my daughter. All lies. And Clearwater would swallow them whole. Marcus needed help. Someone the town couldn't ignore. The only ally left. He guided Emma through an alley behind the diner where Tyler worked. The back door swung open, and Tyler nearly dropped the boxes he was carrying. Marcus. Emma. What happened? Emma's tear-streaked face said enough. Tyler swallowed hard. My cousin. Child Services. I called her when I saw the police cars heading toward the Carver house. She's already on her way. Marcus exhaled finally, a glimmer of hope. But headlights cut into the alley. A police cruiser. Buckley. The officer jumped out, hand hovering over his holster. Step away from the girl. Emma gripped Marcus harder. No. He didn't hurt me. Please don't take him. But Buckley wasn't listening. His eyes were filled with conviction, the dangerous kind that comes from believing something without ever questioning it. Marcus Hale, Buckley barked, you're under arrest for trespassing, assault, and kidnapping. Tyler stepped forward. Sir, you don't understand. Back off, kid. Marcus lifted his hands, keeping his voice calm. Officer Buckley, look at her. She's scared. She's hurt. She needs help. Buckley hesitated just for a second when he noticed Emma's bruises. But Gregory came storming around the corner, pointing wildly. Arrest him. He's manipulating her. Buckley's eyes snapped back to the badge's version of truth, not reality's. Marcus, get on the ground, the officer ordered. Emma started to cry. She shielded Marcus with her tiny body. No. He saved me. Daddy hurts me. Please listen. Those words echoed off the brick walls. Gregory blanched. Emma. Stop lying. Buckley froze. Tyler stared wide-eyed at the truth finally spoken aloud. And then. Another car arrived. A woman stepped out, sharp suit, stern eyes, professional calm. Child Protective Services. Tyler exhaled in relief. That's my cousin. She walked straight to Emma, kneeling to her level. Honey, did someone hurt you? Emma nodded silently. Who? The woman asked. Emma pointed at her father. Everything cracked at once. Gregory's mask shattered. He lunged forward. She's confused. She doesn't. Sir, the CPS worker said firmly, standing, you need to back up. Now. Buckley looked between the terrified child, the bruises, the stranger he'd nearly arrested, and the man he'd trusted. And for once, he listened to the right voice. The truth finally spoken. With the tension breaking, Buckley holstered his weapon and stepped toward Gregory. I need you to stay where you are, he ordered. Gregory's face twisted. You're arresting me? Him, the stranger, he's the problem. Emma pressed against Marcus, trembling. The CPS worker spoke gently but firmly. Mr. Carver, we've received reports and now a direct disclosure from your daughter. You need to come with us for questioning. Gregory's calm civility snapped. He lunged again, but Buckley stopped him this time, grabbing his arms and pinning him against the car. "For the record," Buckley growled, "I don't appreciate being lied to." Gregory's voice cracked with rage. "You're destroying my life over a stranger." "No," Buckley said, glancing at Marcus, "I think he's the only reason your daughter is alive right now." Emma burst into fresh tears, burying her face in Marcus's coat. Tyler stepped close. "Marcus, what do we do now?" But Marcus already knew. The miracle they never saw coming. Emma was taken into protective custody, not away from Marcus, but with him walking beside her until she was safely inside the warm CPS car. She held his hand until the last possible second, refusing to let go. The CPS worker looked at him. "Thank you for stepping in. Most people would have ignored the signs." Marcus shook his head softly. "I just did what anyone should do." But they both knew that wasn't true. Not everyone sees the invisible cry. Not everyone listens. Not everyone risks everything for a stranger. Only some. Buckley approached Marcus awkwardly, hat in hand. "I misjudged you," he admitted. "The whole town did." Marcus nodded politely. He wasn't one to hold grudges. "Where will you go now?" Buckley asked. Marcus glanced at the little CPS car driving away with Emma watching him through the back window. Safe, finally safe. He opened his notebook. The page with Emma's name slowly faded like it had served its purpose. Another blank page waited. "I'll go where I'm needed next," Marcus said quietly. Tyler stepped forward. "Will you come back?" Marcus smiled gently. "If someone needs me, I'll be there." He slung his worn backpack over his shoulder and walked toward the horizon as dawn began to break. Clearwater watched in silence. The man they feared, the stranger they judged, had been their miracle all along. And they would never forget him.